Hello traders, it's 8 a.m. Chicago time on the 24th of April 2018. Thanks for joining me again. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. The markets are allocating to risk. Again today we have a potential slight gap up. We're right against yesterday's high. We've pushed to 2688.50 in the S&P. The indices are higher, the Dow leading the pack. We had some earnings this morning that were quite important. Caterpillar and so on, 3M and all that. Big components of the Dow. And so the Dow is leading the pack. The laggards today, the Japanese yen. The U.S. Treasury bonds down 9 ticks, and the 10-year note down 4 ticks. So overall, we also had a miss in Europe. So the DAX is down about 14 points and battling, just like my voice. So that's where we stand. As far as what we've got on deck today, that could push us around. We need to keep an eye out for consumer confidence. U.S. consumer confidence, 10 a.m. Eastern, looking for 126. The prior is 127.2. New home sales at 10 also. So those are the items that we need to look out for today. And as far as what we had anticipated from yesterday, as far as the key plans, yesterday I was looking for a bounce and a push higher, which is occurring today. A push higher into 2692. That did not happen at all. The ES was not able to find buyers and push higher as anticipated. Instead, we played scenario 2. Scenario 2 was looking for a push into the 2680, 283 area. Consolidate and then fall back down, and then ultimately, as pointed out here, tests the prior day's low, and then the target is the MC point of control, 2657. The low yesterday is 2657.25. So this plan here worked out almost to the dot. We got a nice bounce on the end of the session. Nearing the end of the session. But here's what happened yesterday. I actually did not have to move this stock zone. Just remained the same. 2683 hit on the dot. This looked like, on the open, this looked like a base for scenario 1. So I was looking for a push down into the prior point of control for it to base and then to start pushing higher. And it did to 2683, and then 2683 shut the door. Sellers stepped in, and it just walked itself through the mid, and then finally spilled out. We finally tested the prior day's low at 59.75, and then got within a tick of the MC point of control, or the microcomposite point of control, or also known as the highest volume price since the February 2nd sell-off. We've been stuck in the range of this February 2nd sell-off since then. Note that volume is just dropping off quite a bit. You can see these black lines are the average, 20-day average for that particular 15-minute bar, or whatever bar selected. Currently, we're looking at 15-minute bars. As shown on the window title up there. And so the volume's just been quite a bit off. And this is the kind of action that is likely to lead us up and away, which has been the expectation for the last week or so. So that's how things shaped up yesterday. We finished. We ended up retesting the point of control on the close. We had a neutral day yesterday. We broke the IB high as well as the IB low. We had a multi-distribution day for a while, and I pointed this out to the Convergent members yesterday in chat. Posted an image actually of how often we're getting these double distributions. We're just double distributions galore. And what that means, how we can interpret that, is that there is definitely a battle on what value should be, or what the participants believe value is. And so there's an exploration, then there's a move away, and then there's a further exploration, and then there's a move back, and then there's a further exploration. The thing about double distribution profiles, meaning they have a big volume area and then a second big volume area, although that's not a very good example, this is a better example right here. The thing about these is they give us very clear cutoff points where participants just didn't agree on price. So you could see here the on this day last Thursday, the low volume node in between these two distributions was right there, and it just carried right into the next session. That became the low volume node right in here, and that's the reason for this stock zone there. And that's we came up to it, came up close to it from below this morning in the Globex session, and are standing by and watching how the market reacts at 26.90 quarter this morning. So this is what the market's saying. It's saying that both sides are actually active. It seems like sellers are not as aggressive as they have been, and buyers are tentative. So volume's dropping off. We're exploring multiple areas, and are disagreeing on all of them. So that's what's happened yesterday. Moving on to our overnight. This is our overnight session. The overnight inventory is pretty much 99% long. The market just could not hold below yesterday's close. Has been moving up since the Asian session, and has been pretty much trending in the European session, trending up. We have a very poor high, very weak high at 2688.50. If we look at bookmap in this area, we'll see a fair amount of trading going off right at that high. I'll just scroll back a little bit. Man, I had this lined up, but I needed to restart my bookmap to refresh it, and so it all got messed up. So we look at 2688 right up here. Oh, it looks like I wiped it out. But there was a lot of volume going off up here. A lot of volume at the high. A lot of prints that were attempting to push higher. In other words, prints on the offer. And you can see that the buy volume is pretty dominant throughout. And so overall, it's made a pretty brave attempt at that 2688.50, left us with a weak high, and then is falling off. We're still above the mid. We're still above the low volume node from the overnight session. We are just at yesterday's high. We just experienced yesterday's high. I'm looking for how do we respond here at the 79 area, 79.75 area this morning. Do we find a base here? Do we push right through? If we push right through, we're likely to see the 2670 again, and we are back in the zone of yesterday, and we are likely to get choppy into today. So Tuesday is generally the highest range day of the week in the S&P minis. We'll see how that plays out. But overall, the delta has fallen off. Price is still positive. This looks responsive to me at the moment. Changes my plans a little bit. What are we expecting for today? Again, we are on the edge. We are on the edge of yesterday's range. we continue to fall back in this morning. Open auction looks like in range, out of value, or just on the edge of value. I'm looking for an open auction. I'm looking for responsive down into this 2675 area for consolidation, and then I'm looking for buyers to step in and to push us back into the 90 area. My initial plan was actually, when we were up at 2687, is a push into yesterday's high into that stock zone, and then a likely rotation up to 94 this morning. But since we're likely to push lower to find a base here, this is the current interpretation of what the context is and what the most likely action is. So the timing of this is going to be interesting. Just keep an eye on your order flow wherever you're engaging. I don't engage. I do my best not to engage, except in these gray stock zone areas. And so I'm going to be looking for this to fall through. Otherwise, if it does not, if we open, test, push, then I'm going to be looking for a pullback into the stock zone for a long, and then 2693.75, and a pretty strong potential for 2700 today. That's scenario 2. Scenario 3 brings in volatility and volume. If it does come to fruition, open, test, drive right back into the yesterday's point of control and the close beneath it. Overnight low gets taken out, and then we start to work ourselves back towards the MC point of control, that big magnet below, and we get back into balance at 2657 again. That's scenario 3. This scenario brings in, as I said, more volume, more volatility. It's likely to play out more quickly, but I'm looking for scenario 1 or 2 as the highest probability. I'm looking for it to base, either base high or base deeper towards the point of control, which is at 2673.75, and then push higher. That's what I'm looking for today. That's the current action supports the market going higher, more likely going higher. Point of control shifting up yesterday. We were in complete balance yesterday. The bounce after testing the prior day's low, this bounce right up here, you can see the delta just taking off. This all supports the stronger potential of a push higher today. That doesn't mean you should be looking for longs or you should get long and get stubborn. It just means that that's probably your stronger, this is probably my stronger play for today. Okay? Convergent members, on Thursday, we're going to go through the basics. We're going to take a session, a study hall session, and we're going to go through the basics of just the conversation, the terms, and how we look at market structure. It's in the member calendar. Log in to the website, hit the member calendar, and register. It'll be Thursday after the close. Take care.